Welcome to High Country Addiction, the only Western-style hunting program that showcases not only our outdoor experiences, but yours as well. We're all about family, friends, and tradition, and I'm your host, Ryan.
And I'm Alfred. Ryan, do you remember your first elk hunt?
Yeah, I do. Do you want me to tell you about it real quick?
Absolutely.
So I was probably about 12 years old here in the state of New Mexico. My dad and I went on a big bull hunt, actually. And that morning, my dad was like, you know what, why don't you go off, do your own little thing? And I was like, okay, I can do this. Didn't think I could whatsoever. So walking around, had this weird smell that I smelt in the aspens, and all of a sudden I heard something take off running. I took off, looked around the corner, saw this big old bull running around some trees. I ran around the other way, and we went face to face, both of us, big old wide eyes. I freaked out, raised my rifle, shot, and got scared, and I took off running the other way. Came back, never even hit it. Couldn't believe it, but that's what happens.
That's a cool story, Ryan. So guys, remember, if you don't know anything about hunting and want to know more about it, follow us as we take you out west on a high country expedition.
That's right, and like we've told you guys before, it's not about trophy hunting. If you're successful in harvesting an animal in a western state, that's a trophy in itself. We have a few long hunts for you, as well as some viewer submitted footage.
Guys, we're gonna show you some product from Sportsman's Warehouse. This week we're gonna go into some spotting scopes, different brands, different magnifications. But before we do, let's check out this hunt.
This first hunt is a really good buddy of mine, Chris Hunter. He actually works for New Archery Products. He'd been putting in for an elk hunt forever. This is his very first elk hunt in Montana. You guys kick back, relax, and we'll go into a little bit of detail as we watch Chris on his first big bull hunt in Montana.
Let's roll that clip.
Probably a really long drive right here. He's heading out to Montana for his elk hunt. We've talked about this in the past. You know, you got a day and a half till your elk hunt starts up, and you got to drive 800 miles. Man, that's got to be a killer on the mind. Just sitting there thinking, what am I going to do? I'm so excited. I can't, you know, I can't stop thinking about this, you know? So I'm sure, you know, they probably slowed down the video there of him driving in. I'm sure he's doing about 120.
That anticipation before a hunt is a killer.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just so excited. You've waited so long. You finally got the tag in your hands. It's go time.
That's right.
He's practicing his shooting a bow, 3D target. Very important. Every time you want to go out on a hunt, you want to make sure you put in enough practice before your hunt.
That's right. Especially when you drive, hitting all the dirt roads and all that and kind of shaking around, you want to make sure that everything's still tuned and the way that it needs to be, the way it was when you left. Not our traditional style, Western style hunt, but you know, that's where he's comfortable, and we're gonna see if it pays off for him.
So it looks kind of like a drainage there, some rolling hills around there. Pretty open terrain, right?
Yeah.
I tried to draw a tag out here 3 years ago, and this year I was fortunate, and as soon as I knew I had that tag, my life changed. I prepared in every way and just devised a game plan to get us here. And like a lot of other people, you know, I work at the factory. You know, we go in, we make the products you guys use. We come out here, we test them. We're using the new Kill Zone broadhead, and we're all good.
So kind of a unique setting too. This isn't you know, high mountainscape where they're in the thick in the trees. They got a lot of openings that they can kind of see a lot of stuff kind of moving around. So that's a really good thing for them on their vantage point.
So it looks like there's some whitetail in that area.
Yeah.
Which is not very common. When you got elk, usually those are different terrains that whitetail are in.
I would love to have an opportunity to hunt in Montana. I've had a few friends that have gone up there and had a really good time. The scenery up in Montana, I mean, big sky country is what it's called. It's beautiful country.
Well, it seems they're in a really good spot there. So they're by the river, elevated, so the wind's going to be really good. Obviously, those deer are right next to them, and they have no idea. They have no clue.
That's right. The way his hunt is set up, that's the border right there. He has to wait for those bulls to cross that water in order for him to take a shot. On the other side of that river is not something he can shoot at.
I know here in New Mexico and other states, you're hunting in areas where there's private property and forest land or public land, so you really got to be aware of where those boundaries are.
Yeah.
So guys, over at Sportsman's Warehouse, we have some really cool tools you can use on your next hunt to be able to tell what boundaries you're on. So we got the SD cards from OnX Maps. They go right into your GPS. Really accurate. I mean, they'll tell you right within feet of where you're standing and what property you're hunting on.
Well, that's a little bit of a tease right there. He comes down and waters in that river and doesn't cross. He goes right back up on the other side.
It seems like somewhat of rut activity.
Yeah.
The way he was kind of, putting his horns down, and that seems kind of like an immature bull, but it's still a really nice bull.
Yeah. All right, it looks like the next day. Let's see what happens now. So Chris actually works for NAP, which is New Archery Products. In fact, from what I heard, the new double cross mechanical broadhead that's out right now, he had a lot of help on designing that. And basically, I'll let you kind of get into detail of what exactly a mechanical broadhead does as far as for penetration and how it actually works. What's the mechanics behind it?
So a lot of people prefer mechanical broadheads. The reason is it flies like a field point, which is a practice field point for your arrows. But when it makes impact, it's going to expand and make a huge cut in whatever you're shooting at. Very effective, very reliable.
All right, guys, so now the elk are finally starting to cross over the river, which, like I said earlier, is probably driving Chris up the wall right now.
There's quite a bit of elk in that herd.
Yeah. A few cows are walking down. I'm sure the bull's going to probably follow right after them.
Wow, look at all those elk, Ryan.
Yeah, they're
Look at all those bulls.
There is a whole bunch of them out there. That's crazy. I didn't even see that the last time. I was watching the bull that was coming down.
Wow, Chris is definitely getting excited.
Got the binos out, hanging out on the side of the tree, watching his bull come in.
That's a good sized bull, Ryan.
Yeah, he's a decent bull.
You know, those bulls get really aggressive when the rut's really kicking in.
Yeah, they do.
It's about dominance. It's about getting those cows and claiming them as yours. How far do you think he is right about there?
He's looking probably 25, 35 yards, maybe at the max.
Pretty close.
Yeah. Oh, and he's coming right in. Chris is one of those guys that wakes up in the morning, shoots his bow, goes to work, comes home, shoots his bow, goes to bed. So I'm pretty sure when he takes this shot, it's going to be on the money.
That's dedication.
Yeah. Oh, was that a stick? No. There it is.
Shot.
There it is.
Looked like a good hit, Ryan.
Yeah, it did. Good job, Chris. How far do you think you went?
Not far.
70 yards, if that?
At the most.
Yeah. Really good job. All right, now it's time to get out of the tree. I'm sure it's been a while. Let's get out of the tree and let's go check it out. I'm excited to see what he got.
There's almost nothing that describes that feeling. Right after the shot, you start getting the shakes, you start getting excited. It's hard to describe.
That's right. That's right.
It ended up right on the river.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful sight, seeing those antlers sticking up like that.
Man. What a decent bull. His first bull. Good job, Chris.
That was a really nice bull, guys, especially for his first elk hunt.
I would have been stoked if that was my first bull. All right, we have another long hunt for you guys, so stick around after the break to check out some more high country addiction.
Sportsman's Warehouse is your one-stop convenient place to shop. Whether you're into camping, hunting, or fishing, our expert associates can help you find the gear you need. We carry a huge assortment of quality equipment from the best manufacturers in the country and around the world. We have guns, ammo, rods and lures, not to mention every kind of outdoor clothing for the whole family. You can shop in one of our fully stocked stores or visit us online at sportsmanswarehouse.com. Visit Sportsman's Warehouse, hunting sale going on now.
I block the wind, the cold. I block the rain, noise, and smells. I block the voice in your head that says, go home. Scent blocker.
Wood-fired, just the way Mother Nature intended cooking to be. With a Traeger, you can grill, smoke, bake, roast, braise, and barbecue. It's the most versatile cooking solution in the world. Traeger, taste the wood-fired difference.
Welcome back to High Country Addiction, the only Western-style hunting program that showcases not only our outdoor experiences, but yours as well. And I'm your host, Ryan.
And I'm Alfred.
All right, so we're going to get to our next long hunt, but before we do that, we're going to show some High Country approved products with our friends over at Sportsman's Warehouse.
Thanks, Ryan. So we're going to go over today is some spotting scopes. We're going to go over some basics, what the numbers mean. We're also going to look at some different manufacturers and kind of explain the differences. So this one here, it's an 11 to 33 by 50. So what that means is you have 11 power out to 33 power and a 50 millimeter objective lens. So that's kind of a smaller one. So if you're looking at doing some backcountry, some wilderness type hunts, something that's pretty lightweight.
So before you go into the next one, explain the last number, the millimeters at the very end, what that actually stands for.
So what that is that's your objective lens. So that's a 50 millimeters. So the bigger that objective lens is, it's going to allow more light in. So your clarity and your brightness is going to be that much better. So it also gives you more field of view, which is pretty nice. Until you start zooming in, then you're obviously going to lose that field of view. What we have here too is we've got an angled spotting scope and we have a straight spotting scope. So a straight's more practical for kind of looking at things downhill or straight. Angled to be more for uphill. If you're trying to go uphill with this one, you can, don't get me wrong. However, if you're standing, you're gonna have to be that much higher to look uphill.
It's a young guy's spotting scope. The other thing that's really cool about this too is you can, these are better to mount on the vehicle with the bracket as opposed to the angled one, because now you're looking straight out when you're utilizing the bracket from your vehicle on the window.
Absolutely. So what we also have here is this is going to be your zoom operation here. It's going to be different on every one. And then you have your focus and your fine focus. So when you're glassing with a spotting scope, you're going to be looking at ways out. You're talking a mile out. So you really want to zoom in all the way and use that fine focus to get good clarity. What we have over here is going to be a Redfield, which is a really good scope as well. It's going to be a little more cost efficient. This is a 20 to 60 by 80 millimeters. So that's a pretty big objective lens. 20 to 60 is pretty good power as well. One difference from this one on, compared to these is you have your eye cup, which gives you some eye relief.
Sure.
And you also have a sunshade. Nice. So if you're at an angle, sun's going down, and you want to protect your lens from that sun, give you good quality picture, pull that out.
Yeah, and that works really good with us out here in the West because of sunset, sunrise, and all that stuff. Is that something that you would highly recommend? Well, cool. Thanks, Alfred and Sportsman's Warehouse, for showing us this wicked gear. Now on to our next long hunt. We're going to follow Jessie, who also was on her first elk hunt. So I want you guys to kick back, relax, and check out this next clip. This is an Oregon hunt we were talking about with Jessie. This is her very first elk hunt as well. If you look at the terrain, how crazy it is. Now, what type of elk are actually in Oregon? Do you know?
The Roosevelt elk,
exactly.
right?
All right, so we got the Roosevelt. What other elk do we have out there?
Well, we've got the Rocky Mountain, the Thule.
So the foliage is completely different. I mean, it looks like there's fern there.
Right.
Yeah.
So the elk tend to be pretty similar in size to Rocky Mountain elk. They're really big, but man, just look at that terrain. It's really thick in there. From what I've heard, it's really steep terrain.
And they might run across a Bigfoot. There might be a Bigfoot in the area.
It's hard to hunt because the only way to really get close is to either sit at a water hole or be able to call them in.
That's right.
Personally, I like to be able to glass at a good distance.
Yeah, I'm not a thick foliage hunter. I need to be able to see some stuff. I don't think she's going to have a very far opportunity. She's not going to have an opportunity where she can actually reach out there 300 or 400 yards. It's so thick.
It is.
All right, so there's Matthew and his wife, Jessie.
She looks tired.
Yeah.
Man, it seems like those trees are just stacked on top of each other.
Yeah.
anytime you're set up in an opening and you got that timber line or just that woods to the clearing, they seem to migrate or kind of hover over that area.
Yeah.
So they tend to come out to the openings, you know, to feed, and whether it be at dark or early in the morning, and then they'll go back into the dark areas, the dark timber for cover and to bed.
Second day in a row. No bulls.
I don't know. I think there was another one, because it was down below those.
Okay, we'll just keep watching. If there's more elk, those three kick them up because they came hauling ass clear off the top.
So from my experience with elk, they seem to like those open areas to feed on. So when it starts getting dark or super early in the morning, but besides that, they'll go in bed in those dark timbered areas. They also go in there during the daytime. It's a lot cooler temperature in there, so they tend to like that quite a bit.
Okay. It's the fourth day of Jesse's hunt. Or at least the fourth day we've been able to hunt. We decided to push down through this clear cut again. Anyways, we decided to push down through the clear cut again. And we look across to where we would usually sit. And there's the friggin' elk right below where we usually sit. So now we gotta drop elevation. Get closer. See if there's a bull in there. If there is, she's gonna shoot it. It's not a bad back out, even though they're in the very bottom. So, stay tuned.
It's really cool that he's taking his wife out too. I know my wife and I, even though she doesn't like going as much, she loves to fish. But when it comes to hunting, she'll go with me. It's really neat experience to be out there with the family, with the wife, the kiddos. It's all fun.
Yeah, Matthew does that with his wife and also both of his kids. They're constantly out in the field hunting or fishing, just walking around. We got quite a bit of footage from Matthew and his wife, or his whole family, that we'll be showing you guys a little bit later as well.
There's the elk. Yeah. Right up there is where we normally sit.
That type of terrain I'm familiar with. I mean, you're able to glass from a distance. You're 200-300 yards away. You can really cover a lot of ground with your optics opposed to getting down there, boots on the ground and trying to go through there. You know as well as I do, a lot of times those elk, or animals for that matter, will hear you or smell you way before you see them.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right on that.
So guys, it's a shame that Jessie wasn't able to get an elk. She'll have to wait till next year to get one.
You know what? Sometimes that's just the way it goes. We have some viewer submitted footage for you guys, so stick around after the break to check out some more High Country Addiction.
Before you go viral, make an appointment with Feedy Family Dentistry, now with 2 locations to serve you in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho.
I block the wind, the cold. I block the rain, noise, and smells. I block the voice in your head that says, go home. Scent blocker.
Sportsman's Warehouse is your one-stop convenient place to shop. Whether you're into camping, hunting, or fishing, our expert associates can help you find the gear you need. We carry a huge assortment of quality equipment from the best manufacturers in the country and around the world. We have guns, ammo, rods and lures, not to mention every kind of outdoor clothing for the whole family. You can shop in one of our fully stocked stores or visit us online at sportsmanswarehouse.com. Visit Sportsman's Warehouse, hunting sale going on now.
Welcome back to High Country Addiction, the only Western-style hunting program that showcases not only our outdoor experiences, but yours as well. And I'm your host, Ryan.
And I'm Alfred.
All right, so right now we're going to check out this week's viewer-submitted footage.
Guys, remember, if you want your hunt on the show, follow the link on the screen. If it's good enough, we'll air it on a future episode.
This one's going to be a little bit different. It's a guy jet skiing in Oregon catching big old fish.
Sounds pretty cool.
Pay attention to what his jet ski looks like. He's literally altered this jet ski to hold a cooler, basically all of his rigs and all the stuff that he has to do in order to go out and go catch tuna. I talked to Matthew about this, and he says he knows of 2 other guys that do this in Oregon, and there's a small little clan type group in Southern California that does the same thing.
So Ryan, what this kind of reminds me of is out in like Alaska or something. They're out in the snow going in their snowmobiles. So we're just doing that in the water. Same concept,
Same
right?
concept. And his only source of videoing this is GoPro. So it's going to be right up there in your face. When he gets something, it's going to be right there. Basically, same goal in mind, whether he's hunting or fishing, which he does everything. His number one goal is to get out there, get something, and come back and feed his family. Yeah, what a view. Just to be able to hang out.
Pretty neat.
And you know what? In fact, I thought I saw them, and I don't know if this is true or not, but remember Goonies, where they had those mountains out there in the ocean? Right. It looked like he was driving towards those same set of mountains.
So it seems like he's hooked onto a pretty nice sunfish here.
There you go.
So I'm wondering, Ryan, that size of sunfish, I mean, you can't just reel it in. So he's probably got to maneuver his jet ski around, try to, reel it in slowly.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's got some kind of hooking system where he just pulls it up somehow, but he's got to be able to maneuver, like you said, get up on the side of it and get that thing in there. I'm sure on a jet ski, I mean, tuna they don't tire out very, very fast. So when
Right.
you reel something in and trying to get it into your jet ski, I'm sure it takes a lot of patience. Not only does he go fishing, but on his way back, he has crab traps that he actually goes and checks. Checks those, if they're full, drops them into the container that he has, and then resets them again. He does this every week.
And it's amazing how he came up with a system to be able to haul out all his, the gas. I mean, he's got a gas can right there. Haul out all his fishing rods, the crab trap, like he said. But then on the way back, he's got to get the fish, the crab, and all his equipment back to shore. That's really neat.
Yeah, he was telling me, I talked to him on the phone, and he was telling me it was like 2.5 to 3 hours just to get out to where he goes and fishes.
Wow.
Wasn't that absolutely insane?
That was pretty cool. I've never seen anything like that before, Ryan. Guys, remember, if you want your hunt on the show, follow the link on the screen. If it's good enough, we are going to air it on a future episode.
That's right. So after the break, we're going to come back and reflect on what we saw today and give you a taste of what we're going to have next week on High Country Addiction.
Wood fired, just the way Mother Nature intended cooking to be. With a Traeger, you can grill, smoke, bake, roast, braise, and barbecue. It's the most versatile cooking solution in the world. Traeger, taste the wood-fired difference.
I block the wind, the cold. I block the rain, I block the voice in your head that says, go home. Scent blocker.
Before you go viral, make an appointment with Hca Family Dentistry, now with 2 locations to serve you in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho.
Hey guys, and welcome back to High Country Addiction, the only Western-style hunting program that showcases not only our outdoor experiences, but yours as well. And I'm your host, Ryan.
And I'm Alfred.
All right, so let's reflect on what we saw today. 2 really cool hunts and a fishing trip. We watched Chris went all the way out to Montana, hunted elk for the first time, and slammed a really nice bull. You know, watching the elk come down and then getting back up, not crossing the boundary, I'm sure was teasing him and probably making his mind go crazy. But he sealed the deal at the end, and I'm sure he's happy. Then we watched Jesse's hunt. I'm sure she wasn't happy the way that the outcome came, but she did learn a lot, and I'm sure she had a really good time. And then the fishing trip was absolutely insane. Rigging up a jet ski, going out, checking crab traps, and then catching fish, bringing them back 2 or 3 hours, that's just insane.
Guys, always respect the animals you hunt, and let's pass that on to our next generation.
That's right. Right now, let's check out next week's clips that's going to be on High Country Addiction.
Remember, if you want your hunt on the show, send it to the link on the screen. If it's good enough, we'll air it on a future episode.
That's right. And always remember, family, friends, and tradition. We'll see you next week on High Country Addiction.